It's a mess of flowers in the dark.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Lone Fox YouTube channel. Today we have 4 DIY projects perfect for the springtime or honestly any time of year. They're so simple, affordable, and they look absolutely amazing. So let's just jump right into it.
I wish I had a coffee cup.
I am so pleased with how this first project turned out, and I think you guys are going to love it as well. All you're going to need is a white pillowcase, some flowers, black paint, and a paintbrush. So I first started off by pressing these baby breath flowers that I got at the grocery store for just a couple of dollars, but you can really press any flower you want. We're essentially just creating a stamp, but I thought that this flower was so pretty and it was also super affordable, so I just got a couple bushels of it to press down. After a few hours, they're going to look like this, so you don't need to press them for a long time at all. We're just creating a stamp. And then I used my black paint and my paintbrush just to sort of dab a light coating onto the actual stamp of the flower, or like the pressed flower. So I just sort of dabbed it on as shown here. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then I spritzed it with a couple sprays of water, almost to make it a more like watercolory ink situation, and I laid it down, used a paper towel to dab the excess, and really pressed it into the fabric. And you're just going to peel it off, and you have this amazing stamped flower. And this is just going to be a repetitive process. And of course, every stem, every flower, every leaf is all different. So you really get this like nice organic look, which I think looks really nice. And I repeated the process around the edge of the pillow to give this really pretty, like, I don't know, ombre effect into the center, where I then decided that I wanted to add a monogrammed letter, which was sort of like a last finishing touch. I thought it would be a cute little accent, so I watered down a tiny bit of black paint, and I just freehanded on a monogrammed letter. You can definitely go on the internet and type in like a monogram that you want to and just sort of follow it. I just decided to freehand it because I thought it would be pretty easy and generic. It's just one letter. I'm not doing like a full name or anything. So I just put a D for Drew on here, and I'm so excited to put this on my bed. I think it's gonna look amazing, and it's very spring appropriate, I think. Also year-round appropriate.
It's very dark, so I fall to the ground. Oh, I wish I had a bed.
I'm also fully obsessed with this next project here, and it is this wall art piece that I created using a frame I found at Michael's for just a couple of dollars, a bit of yarn, linen fabric, fabric glue, and some scissors. So this frame was actually at Michael's, normally $10, 50% off, so I got it for $5. And I just wanted to create something inside of it. I thought it was so pretty, and it's definitely something you could find at like a thrift store or something, and I really love the natural color of it. So I just applied a little bit of fabric glue on the back of it, and then laid it across this scrap piece of muslin fabric I have, which is literally the cheapest fabric you could buy at the fabric store, probably $1 a yard. After a few hours, I just cut around the excess to get that extra linen off of there. So you're basically backing your frame with linen. You can really do this with any frame you would like to, but I just happen to have this really pretty circle frame. And then I used a pencil just to mark out the word hello. Again, freehanded it. If you want to, you can totally print something and trace over it, but I just freehanded it and then decided to use a bit of hot glue instead of the fabric glue, just so it would stick better. And I laid down my yarn in the word hello, and I ended up actually going for this yellow yarn. I was originally going to do that green color you saw at the beginning, but I thought the yellow was so pretty, and I love the combo, especially for the springtime. I thought it was a nice pop of color. Cut off your excess when you're completely done, and you have this really nice little wall art piece that is pretty graphic, but also super pretty at the same time. How I love a good wall hook. This one is actually perfect. All you're going to need is a wooden little wall hook. I found this at Michael's, some 18 karat gold spray paint, that's what I used, and then a black acrylic paint and a paintbrush. So my trick to spray painting any sort of wall hook like this, because you can find these at a lot of different like raw wood sections of craft stores, is to really overload it with spray paint. So spray a whole ton on there, and it's really going to fill in all the cracks and really make it look like a metallized surface. So next what I did was look up the Leo star sign on the internet, which is my personal birth sign, and then I used a thin paintbrush and a little bit of black acrylic paint and just again freehanded this on the top of the piece. I realize now a lot of this DIY in this video is very freehand, but I think that makes it look more organic and more handmade, which I personally really like that look. And then I freehanded on the word Leo, which was probably one of the easiest ones to freehand on. And then I connected all of the dots with a thin white, I was gonna say thin white line, a thin black line in between, and added a couple little dots around the edge for a bit of extra interest. And then you're finished with your wall hook, and you can hang this up, put whatever you want on it. I actually have my Polaroid camera hanging on it right now, and it's really useful. we saved one of my favorites for last. All you're gonna need for this project is some yarn, 2 different metal rings, scissors, and some black spray paint. So I started off by spray painting my metal rings with the black spray paint, and you could do whatever color you want, gold, white, black, whatever it may be. And then I created first a hook at the top, so I just took a little bit of yarn, wrapped it around the top, did that little pull through knot thing that everyone knows how to do, and then I created another knot right above it, and this is just going to make a hanger for it. So that's what I first started off by doing to keep those together. Then I took a very thick white yarn that I got at the craft store, and I cut 4 equal lengths, and this can be whatever length you want it to be. I probably did mine at about 24 inches, so it hangs about 12 inches down. And then I looped them on as shown here. I did 4 on the larger loop at the bottom. This is going to be sort of the first layer of this layered wall piece. And then I cut a very blunt edge at the bottom because I really wanted that nice blunt cut. And after that, I took the gray yarn and I did the same thing, but I cut 6 strands of this at a length that was layered perfectly over the top of the white. And then I attached them to the smaller loop on the top. And that's all you have to do. It's pretty simple and self-explanatory. I also, of course, went back and I laid all those gray yarns out, and I cut a very blunt cut at the bottom to match the other one layer. And it ended up looking absolutely incredible hanging on the wall.
Till I fall to the ground. Oh, I wish I had a bed. I wish I had.
So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and you got a little bit of inspiration to redecorate your room for the springtime. And definitely subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And you can also follow my personal Instagram at I'm Drew Scott, where I post every single day if you want a little bit of your daily dose of Drew. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.